Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 14, titled The Quiet Things That No One Ever Knows. Air date February 15th, 2005, and the synopsis is:
Deb is angry to find out Lucas is moving in, but hopeful that Haley has left Nathan, so he might return home. Nathan is a wreck and seems determined to ruin his life. Jake and Jenny live in Peyton's room, but she is reluctant to become intimate with him. And then Erica stops at nothing to defeat Brooke, but clever speeches by her and Mal still turn the tide.
So I noticed something when they were showing the previously on. There was a scene in there. It was Brooke and Lucas. And Brooke said that Felix was on a cruise or something. And then they're like, who goes on a cruise? And they're like, rich people. And I'm like, when did he, like, I must have missed that. Like, when did he say he was going on a cruise?
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but that's how I felt about the one scene I told you about Keith and Deb talking about their night together, how they just decided it was a mistake and that they're just two lonely people. Like, I didn't see that scene and then like in any episode beforehand, so I was confused on why that was in the previously on.
Yeah, because I'm like the last episode, I thought it was Brooke's election and Felix was helping.
Yeah.
So I'm confused at why that part was in the previously on, because I didn't see it. That would have been a good thing for a now episode, like the episode right now, but not the preview. They didn't say that, did they? That he was gone and on a cruise.
No, yeah, I think they did something when putting it on. You're watching it on Max?
But no, Hulu.
Okay. Well, I'm watching on Max. That's how I found the one scene with Deb and Keith. I think whenever they put it on streaming, for some reason for the previously on, I think they're just including deleted scenes, I'm thinking, that aren't in the actual episodes that aired. So the ones that aired are on streaming. But yeah, these have to be deleted scenes or something, because we can't be just not missing, just missing them.
Right.
So.
Well, because we go by scene. So I'm like, yeah. I wanted to check with you because I'm like, I don't recall seeing that scene, because again, Felix was a part of that episode.
Yeah.
And it's not like at the end he was like, oh, I'm going on a cruise, see ya whenever. So I was really confused at why that was in that clip from the episode before, air quotes.
Right.
Because it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and I know the girls from Drama Queens haven't mentioned anything about this so far yet, but I feel like they definitely would be able to, catch this as well if they were watching along. Because I think they watch along together most of the time, at least they are in the beginning, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that threw me off because I'm like, okay, I guess I missed something.
Right.
I guess I got to pay attention more, but I guess I am paying attention, so I don't really.
Yeah, because I tried to find that scene with Keith and Deb, and I couldn't find it online anywhere. So it had just been a deleted scene that nobody just posted online. So I bet like if we had like the DVD series, it probably, but we would see those scenes probably in those episodes on there. So
yeah, that was just weird. I was like, what?
Yeah. So maybe a fan can confirm this, because this is just what I was thinking about them being deleted scenes, because what else would they be if not that? So.
Well, yeah, because it definitely wasn't in this episode either. It's not like they accidentally placed it in the episode or in the beginning, because we never saw it.
Yeah. Yep.
But why would you have a deleted scene in the episode, like in the previously on?
I don't know. Like I said, whoever did this, I don't know how they did this.
Because I thought you would just take the whole episode from when it was aired, or you know what I mean? Because even on DVDs, they have a section for deleted scenes, so it's not mixed with the actual episode.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. And then we don't we didn't watch this at least this season on air live, so
You
we
didn't
don't
watch
know.
any of them on me.
Well, I'm just saying that we can't, go back and think if they did this on TV as well, because I don't think they did. Um, so yeah, I don't know. They did something
What?
when they were
Well, I
switching over
know.
to streaming.
Well, I know on shows back then they still said previously on.
Right, yeah, I know. I'm just saying if they did including these scenes that we've been spotting so far
Yeah,
that were
because
in actual episodes.
it was driving me crazy. I'm like, I must have missed some.
Right.
I don't recall Dawson's Creek doing this.
No.
So this is weird.
Yeah, it's just this show.
Oh, you said it. It's just this show. You mean my favorite show?
Hmm.
Even though I'm hard on it.
hmm Yeah, so in this episode, Lucas narrates and he looks at himself in the bathroom mirror at Dan's. And then a bit later, he walks into the kitchen where, Dan makes a comment about a team or whatever. And then Dan asks, how did he sleep? Lucas says, fine. And Dan tells him to get some breakfast, but Lucas says he usually grabs something on the way to school.
I have a thing about this.
Hmm.
Okay. Dan and Deb have this big house.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me there's not a third bedroom?
I guess, no. Well, Deb does mention something of a guest room in a little bit when she finds out Lucas is moving in, but I don't know.
Because no, I thought she said something about it's Nathan's room. Like you can't just move Lucas in Nathan's room. And I'm like, like you mean to tell me Lucas doesn't have his own room? Like I know Nathan's not there, but it has to be at least a 3-bedroom house. Come on now.
Yeah, so I said they have a guest bedroom, but he's
Why is he
saying,
putting Lucas in Nathan's room?
I don't know,
Like
maybe to,
wouldn't but wouldn't you want your own room besides Nathan's?
yeah, but Dan probably kind of made him stay there to maybe like get back at Nathan if he finds out that Lucas is in his room, so his old room.
Yeah, it was just weird to me. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
here we go with like a house situation. That house, it definitely has more than 2 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because just the last episode, that's when Dan went over at the apartment, he gave Nathan that box of his stuff, so that means he was cleaning out his old room to make room for Lucas, like he was saying. So
Well, I know Lucas was moving in. That's why I was just like, why doesn't he have his own room? Like,
right, yeah,
it should be like that's Lucas's room, that's Nathan's room, and this is still weird because Lucas should not have his own room at Dan's house.
mm-hmm.
Well, do you think he should?
Yeah, he should have his own room. Yeah,
What?
yeah, if there's a guest room, then he should just stay there. Yeah.
No, my point was he should be living at home with Karen.
Oh, yeah, but
Like he shouldn't be living with Dan. Okay, I have another thing with this episode.
hmm,
It's all cute, Dan and Lucas, especially like the ending. But my thing is like about Dan,
mm-hmm.
he acts like, in this episode, it's, obviously all payback, but he's acting all nice to Lucas, like he cares and he's invested. He's actually calling him son in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is like, doesn't like a part of him like wish it could be true? You know what I mean? Like I messed up. And even if you don't take responsibility, at least have the feel that you care. Do you know what I mean? Like you truly care.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
because when you look at Lucas, it's like, this is what it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I wonder what Dan, because Dan is only doing this to mess with him. But I'm like, how can you do that?
Right.
Like you're finding out who Lucas really is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still messing with him? Like, how can this be a game?
Yeah, I don't know.
You do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had a kid and your kid came back into your life, you wouldn't be messing with the kid. You would try to get to know them and like, you know what I mean? It's just really weird. Well,
Well, that's
because
what.
he's always messing with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, he does, try to get to know him later on.
Yeah, but did you see the smile? It's kind of like, huh, I won. Like on
Mm,
Dan's face, I just always like just go off of like, oh, he thinks he's winning or he's losing. Like, because it's always a game to him.
mm-hmm.
Life. It's not normal behavior. It's a
Right.
narcissist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then Deb walks in, and Dan says they're in the kitchen. So when she goes in there, she asks where Nathan is because she sees Lucas, so she thinks that maybe Nathan's there too. Because why
Why
would
would she
Lucas
think
be there
that?
by himself?
Well, why
Because
would
why?
she think that?
Because why would Lucas be there by himself without Nathan?
So, well, so she moved. Oh, not she. Lucas moved all the stuff in, spent the night, and she didn't know he was staying there.
Well, she was gone. She just got home in that moment. She was gone for a few days for some reason.
To where? I
I don't
thought
know.
she wasn't working out of town anymore.
They didn't mention, so I don't know.
What did you think though when he said, because when she asked where Nathan was, and he goes, Lucas will be staying with us for a while. And I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course, then she's like against it. And then
Mm-hmm.
he was like, nice work, for making him feel, at home. And I'm like, and then she goes, this isn't his home, Dan.
Right.
I'm like, I mean, I do agree with him, like a part of it. Like, if he's staying with you, it is his home and you need to be nice to him.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I do agree with her is he should be at Karen's house.
Right. Yeah. It just wasn't fair to her that she didn't know about this until she got back home.
Well,
So.
didn't he say that he said, this is my son to Deb?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, it took a season and a half for for Dan to say that's like Lucas is my son.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That was funny how he said there's some good news though, and she says what? Keith moved into the guest room.
I know that was funny. I know that'd be one big messed up family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he tells her that he left Nathan. Deb tries not to show how happy she is about this.
Oh, Dan is just what I
Mm-hmm.
can't figure. I mean, it's just crazy. Like Dan is happy that his son is miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense to you?
No.
You know what you know what the saying is?
Hmm.
Like for parents, like if you have kids, the saying is like you're as happy as your least happy child.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, I have. So it's like if your kid is, depressed or whatever, or going through a hard time, you're not happy basically.
Mm.
And I'm like, that's true
Mm-hmm.
for some people. For Dan, he's the opposite. He likes when people are miserable.
Right. So Dan says that she left him a few days ago, and it's happening just like they hoped it
Um,
would.
it's been a few days now.
Yeah, apparently.
You would think it would come right after her leaving.
Right.
Well, okay.
And then Deb asks how Nathan is. He must be devastated, and Dan tells her to ask him herself when he moves back in.
He's moving back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Dan says not yet, but trust him, it's a matter of time. Well, I don't know how it'd be a matter of time if Lucas is living in his old room. So are they going to kick him into the guest room once he comes back, or what's the
Well,
plan there?
and my thing too is Nathan was emancipated.
Right. Yeah. So he really has no reason to go back.
Well, it's not like he was Haley and was living with his parents and then got married
Mm-hmm.
to go live with somebody. He was already on his own.
Right. Yeah.
He was working. He
Mm-hmm.
was going to school. Like, he had his own place. Like, there's no reason to go back because he chose to be on his own.
Right. Yeah.
So that was my thing too. I mean, obviously, yeah, we know the future, but it's like, why would he move back? He has his own place, and he did before he got married anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then at school, Brooke and Haley are walking where Brooke says she can't believe Haley left Nathan for Chris. And
Again,
Payne's,
it's weird that it's been a couple days and they're just now talking about it.
right. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you call each other up like the next day when you found out and talk about it?
Right. Yeah.
Especially because this group is very close.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you would do with your friends.
Right. Yeah. So Payne says Haley didn't do that. She looked for herself.
Oh yeah, because Brooke was like, she left for Chris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Payne says
But do you believe that?
no. I think she left her. I think maybe mostly for herself, but at least a little bit for Chris too. Yeah.
No, I think mostly for Chris.
Mm.
10% for herself.
Yeah. Well, she didn't look very happy when she was getting on the bus when she left.
Well, she just ruined her marriage.
Yeah, but
And
she
ended
didn't.
it.
Yeah, she didn't seem happy that she was with Chris now. So, and then Payne says the tour is an amazing opportunity. Brooke says, yeah, to screw up her marriage. And Payne says just because she's married doesn't mean she has to give up her dreams, which is true, but not like this.
Well, that's the thing is, yes, you should still have your dreams, but at the same time, there's a way to do it. This wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know what too, though?
Hmm.
So, okay, I don't believe in marriages that have ultimatums.
Right.
So did I agree with Nathan throwing that out there? No. But thinking of ultimatums, it's like there was another couple that, my favorite couple on Grey's Anatomy.
Who?
The fact that you have to think about it.
I don't remember.
Cynthia,
There's so many couples.
okay, who's my favorite couple? Forget all the other couples.
Jackson and April.
Yes. Jackson,
Oh, when
Nate,
April wanted to leave.
yeah. When she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go again, he said, if you go, we're done. It was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm like, why do my two favorite couples on these shows have to throw in ultimatums to their marriage?
Right.
I'm like, why? Like, because you're only going to regret it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can see how upset you are and stuff, but you're going to regret the choice or your ultimatum.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, because in both relationships, they regretted it.
Right.
So look where it got you.
Yep.
Well, I just saw the parallel in that, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Peyton doesn't believe that Haley went for Chris because Haley told her that she's not into him and she believes her.
But Haley's been lying that she's been she's been kissing Chris. Wow, can't say that.
Yeah, and Peyton knows that fact too before anybody else. So
And Peyton had to confront her about it.
mm-hmm.
It's not like she told her friend, "Oh my God, I did something terrible, and I kissed him." She didn't say that. Peyton had to go to her. She tried to lie the first time around to Peyton, and then it finally slipped out. But she said he kissed her. But when Jake saw them, Jake wasn't, he said she was kissing back.
Right.
So it was like, shouldn't you believe Jake went over at Miss Laggy Pants over there?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't get why Peyton is going along with this. I'm like, she's been lying to you. You know that. You've caught her. So why would you believe her?
I don't know.
I don't get it. But you know what's kind of funny too? Is that Peyton is on Haley's side and Brooke is against her. Because
Right.
it seemed like Brooke and Haley were getting close.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden, Peyton's the one sticking up for her.
Right.
Well, I'm just saying the little twist that's going on.
Yeah. And then Brooke says for them to think about what Nathan was when Haley met him. Good looking, rude, sexy, arrogant, and talented. Payne agrees just like Chris. So Brooke says, Haley changed Nathan for the better, but maybe she misses a challenge,
It,
She wants to do
it
the same
was
thing with
weird.
Chris.
It was, I found, what I found was weird was that Peyton said, listen to Peyton, that said, you think that she changed him?
Right. Yeah, I
I
remember
was
that.
like, but I was like, you dated him.
Mm-hmm.
She even told, Peyton told Haley, you changed him.
Right.
You remember that in season 1?
Mm-hmm.
So why is she telling Brooke, or asking Brooke, do you think she changed him? Like you said she did.
Right.
Plus, you dated the Jack but you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like he was a
Yeah.
complete ass to you. And now he was all nice. Like you didn't change him. Do you know what I mean? Like, did you totally erase who he was, Peyton? It was very like, I don't know, Peyton in this episode kind of bugged me.
Yeah.
Just between the support for Haley, the not realizing that Nathan had changed, apparently, and then the whole crap with her and Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying her wish-washy self was
Right.
coming out in this episode.
Mm-hmm. And then, so Brooke called Haley, not Haley, Nathan the bad boy of Tree Hill. That's what he used to be.
Well, he was.
Yeah.
See, I'm with Brooke. Like, basically, everything she was saying about this, I was agreeing with.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't you?
Yeah. And then we go to the apartment where Nathan is playing a video game on the couch,
Oh my God.
surrounded by a mess. Just then a doorbell rings. It's Lucas,
I will
checking in on
say
him.
the apartment could have looked a little bit more.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seemed like the coffee table and maybe the counter was messy, but we didn't see too much anyways.
Yeah.
But
I was like, there wasn't clothes all over. There wasn't, I was just like, didn't really seem like a mess. You know what I mean? What
mhm,
you would imagine. So
right,
I don't know. I was just like, they could have they could have tore it up a little bit.
right,
Well, I mean, think about it. He was so upset he broke the wall. I'm talking about the wedding wall. So you would think he would do other things.
right.
I'm just saying.
Mhm. And then, Lucas says that he looks like ass, and Nathan said that he should smell him. And then Lucas mentions he hasn't seen him in school lately, and he asks to come in, but Nathan says now it's not the time. And Lucas tells Nathan that he's really missing Haley. She didn't even bother to call him, but it must be harder for him.
What did you think though when he said that they'll work it out?
Yeah, that was surprising considering the way he's been acting like it's officially over.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she's going to come back and, they'll work it out, then he shouldn't be acting like this at all. So,
Well, yeah, he said it's 12 weeks. We'll work it out when she gets back. And I'm like, what?
yeah.
Also, do you think he believes that, or do you think he's like just telling Lucas?
Yeah, he's probably telling Lucas just to leave him alone.
Because
Yeah.
because we know the future.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Thrill to work things out.
Right.
So it's just kind of weird that he said that because I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And also too, like, yeah, I did. I think it was just to get Lucas to go away.
Yeah. Because he shuts the door on him.
Like, because he doesn't like people in his business.
Mm-hmm. And then back at school,
But does Nathan realize it's only going to get worse? Like, you should just let Lucas in compared to what he's about to get.
Right. Yeah. And then back at school, Peyton walks up to Jake at his locker and she points out that he left early this morning. He explains that he had to drop Jenny off at his mom's and then talk to Karen at the cafe.
So Jake is in school now, right?
Yeah, it seems so, yeah.
Well, not really. We don't really see him in class.
Right, yeah.
We just see him around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Payne says that Ted Leo is doing an in-store in Ralph tonight. And does he want to go? He says he can't because, of school.
And
Jenny
where tonight?
and Ralph, or not Ralph.
Rally.
Yeah, Rally. Yeah, there you go. I just skimmed through. I went through it really quick without really seeing what it was. Yeah, so he can't because he doesn't have the time. We know with school, Jenny, and finding a job, there's no room for anything else. So Payne says she understands.
She don't understand. She's not a mom.
Right. Yeah. So when he starts walking towards class, he asks Payne if she's coming because she's kind of stuck, kind of disappointed that he can't go with her. And then Brooke is walking the hallway when Erica offers her a campaign CD. So what would be on the CD? Like her ads or what? I'm confused on what these CDs would be.
Probably all about Brooke or something.
Yeah.
Like something negative.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's weird though is there's other people running,
Mm-hmm.
and yet Erica is only focused on Brooke.
Right. Yeah. Are other people running or is it just those two for president?
I don't know. I feel like there's probably more.
I thought it was maybe just those two because we don't see any other posters or anything for anybody else. So
No, yeah, but sometimes they can get it wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, and it would make more sense why Erica was so focused on Brooke too if she was the only other person.
Well, I could see Erica being a little worried because it's Brooke who's the most popular girl in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why you'd be worried. You don't want to go against the most popular girl in school.
Right.
Because they're all going to vote for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to the CD, Brooke just says she's more of an MP3 girl. And then Erica runs into Whitey and, asks about the event schedules. So
I can't with this girl.
Yeah, gives
okay,
her.
Event schedule.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be for either.
Cynthia.
It just seems really over the top for this campaign.
This whole campaign is crazy to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
We just went to a little school, so we did not have this. This is just so over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, what I said. It just seems like maybe this would be something I could see maybe a private school doing for or something like that.
Yeah, where you can actually pay ads, have them run at your school, like Erica's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, she has them on the TV. You would think if it's on the TV, she got to pay somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not going to do it for free. Otherwise, they would say, well, Brooke, give me your ad so we can do 50-50 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm sure she's paying this out of her own pocket, Erica. So,
okay. Little Miss Erica. Because, he's got those, he's got the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that she'll see Brooke next period. So she'll give it to her.
Right.
Now, why would Whitey trust her?
I guess just he doesn't know Erica that well. He just knows that she's the presence in 7th grade.
Well, then why is he in charge of the election if he doesn't know her?
Maybe
it's just something all of a sudden he's doing. It's okay, in our school, we had a teacher that she did that every year she was in charge of.
Mm-hmm.
Whitey just seems to act like he's doing it this year and that's it.
Yeah, I think it's just a writer thing. They were trying to give him something to do if he couldn't, coach basketball at the moment. So I guess maybe the teacher that usually does this is out for sick or maternity leave or something, or left the school and they couldn't find a replacement in time or something like that. Could be a different million reasons.
Yeah, it was just weird because I'm why is Whitey doing this of all people?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he wouldn't care.
Right.
Oh, but then how did you like that when he said, that was nice of you, Erica?
Right. And he said that he would be afraid that they would be pulling each other's pigtails by this
And
time.
he said he thought that's what they would be doing, but they kind of are. Like clearly he's not looking around the halls,
Yeah, at least Erica is. She's the one that started this. Yeah.
which is weird because if he's in charge of this,
Mm-hmm.
isn't he supposed to like make sure everything is not like going into like kill mode or something?
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Where you're gonna ruin somebody's life
Mm-hmm.
because teenagers are like that.
Right.
They go to the extreme. So I was like, aren't you supposed to like monitor all the posters and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would think. If you wanted to hang posters up, you'd have to like get it approved and then hang them up.
Right.
But all they're doing is a whole bunch of stuff that I wouldn't think you would do.
Yeah, because when Erica is trying to sabotage, things for Brooke, somehow it's Brooke that's only catching these things and not a teacher, that would stop it,
Well, or that she could go to,
Mm-hmm.
like a teacher she can confide in,
Mm-hmm.
and which you would think would be Whitey, but he's just clueless.
Right. I mean, then again, nobody got in trouble for vandalizing Payne's locker. So I guess it does make sense that nobody would bother to notice these posters and do something about it,
Do you
Yeah.
think it's because they're the popular group? Like
I would hope not.
if somebody was targeting someone else,
Mm-hmm.
do you think then they would step in?
I would hope so, but I hope it's not because of the popularity thing.
Like you're popular, you can deal with it. And you probably
No,
pick on others.
no, it shouldn't be that way.
Well, I know it shouldn't. I'm just asking if you think that's what it might be. Because it's just weird. Like, why is nobody getting caught for this stuff? Like,
Right.
instead Peyton gets suspended
Mm-hmm.
because she wore that shirt and then took it off. It's like
Mm-hmm.
instead of the person that wrote it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying was it because she was popular? So it was like, I'm gonna suspend you.
I don't know.
It's just weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Erica shoves the paper in her backpack, and that was it to that.
I'm surprised she didn't walk over to the trash can and throw it away.
Right, yeah, it didn't really make sense just for her to shove it in her backpack like that.
I know, because I figured she would put hers in her book bag,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one would go right in the trash can.
Yeah. So then Brooke finds Payne in the hallway and tells her she knows she's been busy with the election, but how could she hold out on her like this, about playing house with Jake and not even telling her?
And then
And
she went a little step further and was like, you're going to tell me that you're sharing a bed. And then, Peyton just like looks at her.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so then that's when Brooke tells a freshman to hang up the rest of the flyers for her so she can hear more about this. So,
But I
of course,
mean, okay, but you have to think too.
hmm,
They're teenagers. If
mhm,
Jake was going to go live in a different room at Peyton's house, he might as well just go home.
right,
Like they're teenagers. That's what they do. They sneak around. And here, they don't have to sneak around.
hmm,
So why wouldn't they share a bed?
right,
What I just find weird is that Jenny's in there with them.
hmm, yeah, me too. But I thought it was funny for the freshman because I bet like he probably hung up like one or two just to kind of act like he was doing it, but then just dump the rest somewhere else in the trash or something
Mm-hmm.
when Brooke's not looking.
Well, and how does she know he's a freshman?
I guess just she's familiar with his face and know he's in the younger crowd, maybe. I
Or
mean,
maybe
because like
she just calls everybody that.
maybe because like when we were in like seniors, I knew who were freshmen and who were not. So
You did?
yeah, at least for the most part, yeah.
I guess I didn't really pay. The problem was I didn't really pay attention to the class that was like way younger than us.
Mm,
I paid more attention to the upperclassmen of us than
hmm.
the ones below us.
No, yeah.
I think because I was just done with school, so I was like, I don't really care anymore about anybody.
Hmm.
Well, you get to that point.
Right. And then yeah, so Payne just tells Brooke that Jake made it clear that he doesn't have any time, for anything else. And Brooke tells Payne to forget what he says because, she's seen the way he's looked at her. And Payne tells Brooke doesn't she have health class? And Brooke says she thinks she's healthy enough. And
That was funny.
yeah, she's watched Payne and mope over Jake for weeks, and now she has him in her bed. She needs to take a chance. And then next scene is in class when Nathan walks in late.
Oh my God. The scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just walks in,
Yep.
sits down,
Mm-hmm.
and pulls out a beer.
Well, according to him, it's actually malt liquor. But yeah.
It was funny. And then the teacher was like, "Are you drinking a beer in my class?"
Mm-hmm. And it was funny too because Nathan said that he's only at school because his PlayStation broke.
Yeah, I know. And but then he's late too. So on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And then it was well, okay. That part was funny until it got a little, bad. It took the turn for the worse, let's just say. Because then, okay, but how did you like it when he said, "I brought enough to share," and put it on the one kid's table?
Yeah, that was funny too.
I was like, shouldn't the teacher have like snatched that from him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she didn't get closer until that point. Yeah, to grab it.
Well, I'm saying from the other kid.
Oh,
Because
well,
he
yeah.
put it on that kid's desk. I would think she would have snatched it from him.
Yeah, well, she did, but like after a good minute or so, she was just staying in front of the class talking to him the whole time until a certain point, and she got closer to grab it.
Yeah, until she said, "Come with me," and he said, "That's a nice skirt." And then he said, "I bet if more teachers dressed like sluts, attendance in this place would skyrocket." Like, what, Nathan?
Yeah, so if he wasn't gonna get suspended before, that would definitely do it.
I mean, now it's like you should just get expelled.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you were gonna say that to a teacher, you might as well have just stayed home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, but then you do wonder, like, does he really think that about his teacher?
Right. And then apparently,
is just like Dan coming out?
yeah, I think it's like Dan season 1, Nathan coming out. Yeah. It's like, I guess, like as if Haley was like the thing that made him like good in a way. So now without that thing, he's just kind of reverting back to his old self, it seems
Yeah,
like.
but I'm saying, do you think he believes that she dresses like a slut, or is it just like a Dan coming out of him, and he really doesn't believe that she's a slut?
Yeah, I think he just doesn't really care about what happens anymore. So he's just doing whatever he feels like and saying whatever he feels like and not caring about the consequences because he doesn't care now that Haley's gone. So,
Because I'm like, dude, what? Like, you actually believe she's a slut?
like, what's
Like,
the point?
I know he doesn't care, but I'm like, why are you saying stuff that isn't true? It's just
Right.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, him bringing liquor was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And how he's just opening, and Nathan or Lucas is just like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucas is just like, puts his hand like on his face. Yeah, because he's just like, huh, I can't. Him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at Dan's, Lucas leaves Haley a voicemail. He says he doesn't know if she's been getting his messages, but for her to call him because he's worried about Nathan. And then Peyton is getting ready at her house.
Is it weird that Haley is not even talking to Lucas?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe she thought that Lucas, would be, giving her a field day about, or giving her an earful about, Nathan and leaving and everything. And
Well, he is.
yeah, I mean,
Through
but he's doing,
voicemail.
yeah, I mean, like he's doing it in a nice way. Maybe she didn't want to like hear him be angry about it,
Yeah, but it's her life to live.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, she's ruining her marriage, but I'm saying for Lucas and Haley, like their friendship, it's her life to screw up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe she was like so ashamed to leave and she just didn't want to face anybody, no matter who it was.
Because she hasn't talked to anybody, but I just figure the one person she would talk to would be Lucas.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like that, I guess. And then, yeah, so Peyton's getting ready at her house for the event. What were they doing?
What is she doing? Like, where is she going?
Yeah, I think they were getting ready for the event, the one that Jake said he didn't have time for, but seemed to be going with her.
But what
Anyways,
event is this?
the one person that she mentioned earlier, Todd Leo or something, or Leo Todd, something like that. I forgot what I said. But yeah, apparently he was gonna go with her, I guess, even though he said he doesn't have enough time until Jenny, wasn't looking very well, so they stayed to take care of her, and then
Until she threw up on her.
yeah, and apparently Peyton had the emergency money to give to him for the doctors, which
She gave him all of that.
yeah, I was surprised.
So if there's an emergency, she now has to call her dad to try to get more. Where is his father? I thought he was gonna work close to home.
Right, I don't know.
I don't think they really lined anything up, but they should have just said he was going back out to sea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead of saying he's gonna stick around.
Right.
Really? Where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter is living with her, I guess her boyfriend and girlfriend. She's living with her boyfriend and his baby. You might want to come home for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if nothing else, come home for that.
Right. So then Lucas goes to the cafe to see his mom, but only finds Andy, grading papers at the bar.
Oh, this was funny.
Yep, because then she walks out and she says his name with a stern tone.
But I loved Andy because he goes, I'll just grade these papers somewhere else.
Yeah.
Andy was good in this episode.
Mm-hmm. He knew to get out of there, yep. So
Well,
then
he really
Karen,
didn't. He only moved to another table.
yeah, I mean, just like not right in front of them, where
Yeah,
Karen was.
Yeah, but he was listening.
Yeah. So then Karen says she didn't expect to see Lucas today. She tells him to sit down and have a drink, so now she's all nice. And then Lucas says he wanted to see how she was doing, and Karen straight out asks, what does Dan have over him? Because there has to be something. She's gone over 1,000,000 times, and there's no other explanation as to why he chose to live with him. Or she says that snake. So unless he wants to tell her.
Then the soda is gonna be $2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Lucas says nothing. Yeah. So apparently he has to pay for his drink and food.
Which is weird because if he's living with Deb's part owner now.
Right.
So would he really have to if he's living with Deb?
Well, I don't know. I don't think she's really happy with Lucas at the moment just because he's living there in Nathan's room. But even though it was Dan's idea, but
this whole thing was Dan's idea, moving in and everything.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
I don't think Deb hates Lucas though.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. And she wasn't there in this moment either. So she couldn't really, say to Karen,
yeah, but Lucas is going to get money from Dan, which is also Deb's money. And then he's to pay Karen, which would also pay Deb. So no matter what, it's like Deb's going to get her money back.
You think Dan's giving Lucas money?
No. Yeah. If he's living there. Like if he needs something.
Well, I figured Lucas would be getting money from a job he has.
He has no job. What job does he have? The boy has no job. His imagination.
Well, he was working at the cafe a little while ago, but
yeah, well, I'm sure Karen fired him.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
I don't see him working anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't explain too many things on here. So then Jules goes to Dan to see him, to dance to explain, to him about the wedding gown that he paid for.
Okay, yeah. Not only is he paying for the wedding, he's paying for the wedding dress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she says no one asked him to do that, and Dan says most women would have sent a thank you note.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Not if they're being manipulated.
Right. But if she's going to yell at him, at least do it inside the house. So then inside the house, she tells Dan to stay away from their wedding. Dan asks Jules, what is she going to do about the guests, considering the whole thing is just an elaborate ruse designed to bring down his brother.
Oh my God. But how did you like though when he said that about her parents and stuff? And then he said, I could lend you mine, but no.
Right.
I was like, what?
Yeah, because obviously that would be weird and awkward for the obvious reason, because those are also Dan's Keith's parents. So
Yeah, but how did you like when he goes, but no?
right, yeah.
That's what made me laugh. That part was the but no.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, so Jules tells Dan, she loves his brother. Why don't he just leave them alone?
then he said he
And
didn't pay her to fall in love with him. Because he only didn't he only pay her to make Keith fall in love with her,
yeah,
and then she would break his heart.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, things change, Dan.
Right. But
People
he
fall
also,
in love.
yeah, but he also said before that because Keith slept with Deb. So that's two reasons. And then Jules says, she'll just tell him the truth. And Dan says she could, but it's risky. And that Keith
So
won't.
I didn't like when he said that, when he threw it at her that, I mean, as much as I don't like Jules, but when he said, I could tell Keith at any moment
Mm-hmm.
the truth.
Yeah, for the rest of their married life. Yep.
But don't you think though that once Keith, because he's so in love, like I don't think anybody could tell him anything right now. Do you think that even if Dan tried, Keith would just deny it?
I don't know.
Do
Maybe.
you know what I mean? Like he would side with Jules
Mm-hmm.
because he seems very invested in this.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see him telling Dan like, "You're just jealous and this and that. Like that's not her." Do you know what I mean? Like just making all these excuses when the truth is the truth.
Right. Yeah.
I just wonder if he would actually really believe it. I'm saying like right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I don't think he'd listen to Lucas.
Mm-mm.
And that's his nephew. So it's just weird.
Right. But I did like how Dan used the saying about him and Keith playing chess when they were younger, and about the whole setting two moves up for the opponent to lose either way. So he was like telling Jules that's basically what he did with her, putting her in a corner so she can't escape,
You like
no
that
matter what.
part?
Well, it was a nice way for him to explain to her how he set her up, how even though she thinks that she's been being able to, get away with this and not tell Keith the truth when it's really Dan set her up the whole time for her to, either tell him the truth or, leave like the original plan was. So either way, he's going to get hurt. And she thought that she, could just marry him when he doesn't get hurt. So, and then, yeah, so she just leaves because she knows that, like I said, she doesn't have any more moves to, use. So no one gets hurt. And then Nathan is at home looking
Oh
at
my
his
God. This
clothes.
is funny.
And then outside the apartment, Lucas is walking up when Dan and Deb also come up behind him.
That was funny because Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a call from the principal, and then Lucas goes, "Yeah, I was just checking on him." And then he goes, "But since you guys are here, like I'll leave and stuff." And then Dan was like, "Stay. You're his brother. You should be here for this." Like Dan, like now you're turning it into a family matter.
Right.
Like
But
what?
I was surprised that the principal called Dan and Deb since
He's
technically Nathan.
emancipated.
Yeah, exactly. So
Can
I'm
they
thinking,
legally do that?
yeah, I don't know. I think that was maybe more of a just like a concern from the principal, like just wanting to let them know what's going on with Nathan, just because he knows Nathan's situation right now. So I don't know, but
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it was definitely a setup for this scene, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think legally they can do that if he's emancipated by law.
Yeah,
Like,
or at least have to. Yeah.
because the law let him be
Mm-hmm.
emancipated. So I don't think that the school can say anything because he proved that they weren't very good parents,
Right. Yeah.
clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But Nathan, oh my god, he opens up the door and he was like, "Oh, look who it is, the Scott family, all
Mm-hmm.
three of them."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this scene it just kills me every time I see it. It's just so funny.
And then, of course, Dan has to say, sorry, I thought my son lived here. He kind of looks like you, only less pathetic.
Okay, yeah. How'd you like that one?
No, yeah.
That dig.
So he gets what he gets, coming to him later.
And then how'd you like Deb though? We heard about Haley, honey.
Right.
What happened? And then he goes, like you care, which is so true. Deb don't care. All Deb cares about is she's gone. And I can get my baby back, but again, he's emancipated. You're not going to get him back like that. Because no matter what, even if he moved back, he still is in charge of himself. Can you unemancipate yourself?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah.
There's a thing like that you can unemancipate.
I feel like if somebody starts, like if they do struggle with being able to keep up financially for themselves, and then they have to like have no choice but to undo it. I don't know. I'm thinking that would be the only way. So like,
because I guess I've never heard anybody unemancipate themselves.
Right. So if like Nathan stopped working and then he couldn't pay for the apartment, then that would make sense because he had no choice but to go back to his parents. So.
Oh my God. But then, she said, we do care, all of us or whatever. And then he said, yeah, you just showered her with hugs, didn't you? And then he goes, well, I hate to disappoint you guys, but she'll be back in a few weeks. Again, you're telling them one thing, but you're also saying in your own way a different thing, like by your actions.
Right.
I mean, that's when Deb should have said, but honey, like if she's coming back,
yeah,
like you said, you shouldn't be acting like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was surprised they didn't throw that in his face because there was like a lot of digs going like every way. So I was just like, nobody said that. Interesting.
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting how he went from 12 weeks to a few weeks now. So
it's just a few weeks. And then wasn't it Lucas that he told shut up?
Yeah.
You can shut up. And then that's when she said, how can you live like this? And I'm like, it's not that bad.
Right.
Not what you would imagine it would be, Deb.
Yeah.
Also, does Deb clean her own house?
I don't know. We don't see that.
I mean, she's never home.
Yeah. And I feel like they could hire a maid or something too. So
yeah. And then they bring up the skipping school drinking in class. And then but then Dan.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, son. Pissing your life away over some girl.
Right. And Nathan, some girl, she's his wife, yeah. And Dan
really?
says,
hang on, yeah. Really? Well, someone may want to tell her that.
So then Nathan punches Dan right across the face.
And then he goes, nice punch, son. It's good to see there's still a man in there somewhere. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like the fact that Nathan punched his own father. And then, but then it's like, well, what did Dan think was going to happen?
Right.
You said that. I mean, really?
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole, well, someone may want to tell her that. I mean, right there, what were you going to get?
Right.
A handshake? A high five? No. I'm like,
yeah.
Dan, you didn't see that one coming?
Yeah.
Because it was I'm sorry, you have to admit that scene was just too good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's probably the best punch maybe in the whole series, at least in the earlier seasons when they're younger.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at least from, I would say, one of the guys. I know Haley's done some good stuff too, so.
Laps. But yeah, I just loved it because I'm like, Dan deserved it. Because he just kept egging him on. Like when you egg somebody on, like you just deserve whatever is coming to you.
Right.
Because you could tell he's miserable. He's basically told you all to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And you're all still there.
Right.
And the thing is, it's like 3 against 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, okay, were you surprised though that he even opened the door?
Yeah.
Like, why would you answer? You don't want to talk to a single person, right? So why would you even open the door?
Right. Doesn't he have like a peephole he can look through to see who's on the other side?
I would think so.
Or at least look through his window. Yeah. You would think that if he saw, he wouldn't open the door at all.
I mean, especially his parents.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even want to let Lucas in or talk to Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, it's also your parents. Like, you don't want to talk to them. So it's like, why would you let them all in? I was confused at that part. I was like, Nathan,
Right.
it's like if I don't want to talk to people, I don't
Mm-hmm.
open the door.
Nope.
And then they'll just, like, my family will just, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, don't want to talk to you people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because there's just days that you just want to be alone. But I'm just like, why answer? I mean, I guess the only way that we could say that he'd answer is for the scene.
Right.
Because otherwise, there's no other reason besides that scene that you would answer the door.
Yeah.
And I guess for Deb to realize how bad it is.
Right.
Because I guess Lucas telling her or Dan saying something wasn't good enough. I guess she had to see it for herself.
Right. Yeah, so then Nathan leaves after that, and Lucas looks over at Dan, giving him a look.
Like, really, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then later in the apartment, Deb is, cleaning up, and she finds the Polaroid of Nathan and Haley from their wedding reception, and she puts the picture in the lower corner of the picture frame with a picture of them from their wedding, which, Deb wasn't at, so I'm kind of surprised she did that, but I don't know, I think it might show that she cares a little bit about their marriage, if she was nice enough to do that, so.
Well, I think she's obviously mad that her son got married.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a part of it was it was growing on her. Like, she just has to deal with it. It just is what it is. Unlike Dan, who wants to sabotage it, she was just willing to let it go, and eventually come around. Where, Dan was just, I got a plan and that's it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just feel like she would have come around eventually if Haley wouldn't have left. But you know what's weird too? Is like, for Haley, how do you come back to his mom? Like, she already didn't like you for marrying him. And then you break his heart by leaving. What makes the situation going to be better when she comes back? And, like, if Deb has already hated you, she's not going to love you when you come back.
Right.
If anything, it's going to be like, oh, when's she going to leave again?
Mm-hmm.
And people can say, like, oh, that's being a bad mother-in-law. No, that's just protecting your kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why they say if you're going through something in your relationship, you don't tell your family, because then your family is going to hate that person.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. And Deb is seeing all this negative stuff. So why would she like Haley after this?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's weird to me, is like, I don't know why, how it could get better.
Right. And then at school, Brooke walks past guys with stickers on their chests that says, I slept with Brooke Davis, but I'm voting for Erica Marsh.
Why would they even wear those?
Because they're stupid guys.
I wonder if she paid them.
Yeah, something. Yeah, had to.
Because I feel like they wouldn't vote for Erica.
Right, unless, she bribes them somehow.
Yeah, somehow Erica did something, because I don't feel like they would just vote for Erica and then wear that. No.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, though, when she went up to that one. No, you didn't.
Mm-hmm. The jock, yeah.
Yeah, like in your dreams and stuff. And I was like, oh, that was funny.
Yeah, and she pulls a sticker off and asks, where did he get it? And the jock says it's just a joke. But then Brooke twists his nipple and demands him to spill where he got it.
Where would she think he would get it from?
Yeah, I know.
It
That's what I was
says
thinking
exactly who basically gave it to him. Erica
Right.
Marsh. It's right on there, Brooke.
Yeah. Yeah, so she lets him go. He doesn't say anything anyways. And she then storms towards Erica, who's just down the walkway a little bit, and tells her she's very clever. And Erica says, thanks. Cleverness does come in handy in politics, unlike cheerleading, which is about short skirts and who can make the bitchinest pyramid. And Brooke tells her that's it, tomorrow she's going down. And Erica asks if she's sure because she heard going down is more her style. And Brooke crumbles up the sticker in her hand. I'm surprised that Brooke didn't slap her.
I know. Brooke is, remember, like Nathan in season 1. So you would think the old Brooke would be coming out a little bit.
Yeah. Because I feel like season 1 Brooke would have, probably done something similar to Erica after this point. So,
well, and season 1 Brooke would have definitely came out with her words.
Yeah.
Like Brooke didn't care who she was speaking to,
right?
As long as she said what she wanted to say. This Brooke is holding back.
Yeah.
It's like there are times when you need to hold back, right? But this isn't the time now when Erica is winning. And I'm not saying in the polls or anything like that. I'm just saying like just going after you. Like
like that.
Like Brooke really hasn't done anything, but Erica is doing it all.
Right. Yep. And then Jake and Jenny stop by Waddy's office. And he says, sorry, this is the athletic department. Mommy and me classes are around the corner at the Y, which was funny.
Oh, yeah, that sounds funny.
Yeah.
But then he said that he wasn't going to class because Jenny is sick. What did you think though when Coach Whitey he took Jenny and said that he would watch her?
Yeah, that was sweet.
Well, that was funny because then Jake was like, do you know anything about babies? It was funny.
Right.
But did you see Whitey kiss her?
No.
Yeah, it was like on her forehead or something. I thought it was cute. Like, because I know he loves Jake, even though he'll probably never admit it. And so I just thought it was cute.
Yeah.
But he's really gonna watch her all day.
I guess. But I did think it was funny when Weddy tells Jenny that he hopes she didn't inherit her dad's free throw percentage.
Yeah, that was funny too.
Yeah. And then for the first time in a long time, Nathan shows up at Peyton's and asks if she's heard from Haley. And Peyton says no.
Why would she hear from me?
Because they were kind of friends, or at least that's what he thought. He doesn't know. As of recently, they haven't really been. Except for the part when Peyton was, telling her about, her kissing Chris and everything and trying to, tell her it was bad until the very end, at least. And then somehow changed her mind about that. But, Peyton says no. They sit in her bed. She tells him that
she is sorry. I did not like that Peyton said that it was her fault that Haley went with Chris.
Right.
Because it wasn't her fault. I agree with Nathan when he said, oh, she's a big girl. Like those are her own choices and stuff. Yeah. And I agree with that. And that's on my Peyton. Like, it's not your fault. All you did was get him to perform and her to perform at Trick. That's all she did. And she didn't even want him to perform. Haley did. Like how this all started.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the last show.
No, like I'm saying how it all started.
Right. Well, because Peyton says she never would have booked the show if she knew Chris was going to be there. So that's why I got confused how you went to the first show versus the last one.
Because she got to be around Chris because of the whole thing. You know what I mean? If he wasn't performing at Trick the very first night, She
Mm-hmm.
would not have met him. She wouldn't have met him in the audition. You know what I mean?
Right. I just thought that Payne thought it was her fault that that Haley left with Chris because she talked to him again. Like this is the second time like that got her to go. So
Yeah,
she thought,
but it could be everything. But I'm just saying that it's
mm-hmm.
not her fault.
Right, yeah. And then surprisingly Nathan, because you think that with how down he is, he wouldn't kind of have a mind to think about anybody else right now, but he asks about, Jake and Peyton, what's going on with them? Are they together? Peyton says no. She doesn't know what they are, and Nathan says it looks serious. As he's holding Jake's shirt that was in her room, and Payne says, yeah, just not really. She doesn't think that there's a possibility for her and Jake for a
Yeah,
lot
but
of reasons.
then he goes, trust me, you're better off anyway.
Love sucks, he says, yeah.
Yeah, and but then he said like Dan and Karen,
hmm
you and Lucas, me and
Yeah,
Haley. I'm like, what? Like Lucas and Peyton were only for like 5 seconds.
right.
I'm like, wouldn't really consider that, you know,
hmm
love at that moment.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But then of course it's the whole I think one of the most popular quotes on the show.
hmm
Because he said, you got that right, Peyton. People always leave.
Yeah, from her drawing that was on her door that I saw, yeah.
I mean, you know he's going to say something because he was standing right there and said, perfect
hmm
right there for him to
Yeah.
see it.
hmm And then the next scene, Nathan goes to see Lucas at his parents'
Oh,
house.
but did you see that when he was talking to her on her bed, she tried to comfort him by trying
Yeah.
to touch his back and he got up right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
I
that,
was
yeah.
like, what's all that about? You afraid
hmm
something's going to happen?
Right.
That you're going to go back to your old ways and cheat?
hmm Yeah.
I mean, if he was going to do that, he would have done it with Taylor.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, she was right there,
hmm Yeah, and even after she left, she was still there, yeah.
which is weird. I thought the girl was leaving.
Right. Like I said, I think Haley must have told her to stay and tell Nathan that she left, or maybe Taylor did that on her own. Who knows? But
I mean, she could have left a note, Haley. I left.
yeah. hmm And then the next scene, yeah, Nathan goes to see Lucas by honking
Horn.
of his car to get him to come out because Lucas was trying to sleep inside his bedroom, Nathan's bedroom,
Oh my
and
God, but this
yeah.
scene.
hmm
Um. Oh yeah, because when Lucas comes out, um, he called him like a fraud and everything. And then when Lucas invited him inside, he was like, so now you're gonna invite me into my own house? I didn't really think that was your own house, Nathan.
Yeah, that's what I was say too. Again, he's emancipated, so it's not his house anymore.
Well, it's never been his house. It's his parents' house. They paid for it.
Right.
You do not own the house, Nathan.
hmm
That is not your house.
Right.
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like, kids say my house when meaning their parents' house still.
I don't know. I mean, maybe when you're kids, obviously.
Yeah, because like kids, when they ask their friends to come over, like, you want to come over to my house? They don't say, you want to come over to my parents' house? So, yeah, I can see why Nathan said that. But,
But okay, but how did you like how he blamed Lucas
yeah,
for
I didn't like
Haley?
that. Yeah. No, yeah, that was way too much. Yeah, he's
That
just lashing
basic,
out.
yeah, that basically you ruined my life because you came around and brought Haley around, and I'm like, who's the one that asked for tutoring?
Right. Yeah.
Was it Lucas?
Yeah, I think Lucas is just because I feel like if he wanted to, I feel like this is why I'm kind of surprised he didn't blame Peyton too. If he just wanted to blame, anybody that had, anything to do with Haley and whatever she did, maybe. But like who was just like there in the moment when things with Chris started happening. Yeah. So Lucas, he blames
Well,
Lucas.
and little does Nathan know that Peyton was siding with Haley on
Right.
leaving
Yeah.
against Brooke.
Mhm. Yeah. So if he knew that, then yeah, he definitely would have been
Blamed
doing the
her.
same thing. Yeah.
But I didn't like it because I'm like, you're gonna blame Lucas when you're the one that got involved with her.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Lucas. Lucas wanted you to stay a million feet apart,
Right.
but you didn't do that.
Yeah, because he says that if he would have stayed at, the river court, then he never would have met Haley. So he like is blaming Lucas for like doing that in
But
the first
when he
place.
was when Lucas got on the team,
Mm-hmm.
he could have stayed away from Haley.
Right.
There was no reason that he needed to be around Haley
Mm-hmm.
because Haley was Lucas's friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those worlds
Mm-hmm.
could have still stayed apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Lucas's fault that
Right.
you wanted to screw with him. That's what he should have done.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're blaming me, I'd be like, now listen here. You wanted to mess with me, remember that? And
Mm-hmm.
that the only way to mess with me was apparently to get to Haley. Well, there you go. That's your own fault.
Right.
That's what and who was the one, like as much as I love Nathan, but it's like, who was the one that pushed her to sing in the first place?
Right. Yeah.
Instead of like the shower or at home?
Mm-hmm.
You. Like
Yeah.
you can't blame others when you kind of pushed her to do it,
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
at Trick that night. He kind of was, in his own little way, like, oh, you're going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, remember, he kept pushing her to do it when
Mm-hmm.
she didn't want to do Trick.
Right.
He's kind of partly to blame.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing is like Nathan is blaming, he's going back to his old self. He blames everybody else but himself. And yes, it was Haley's choice. Haley was already in this weird relationship somewhat with Chris, like in her
Mm-hmm.
mind.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, she's the one that did it, but Nathan kind of pushed her towards it.
Mm-hmm.
He should have just let her keep singing at home.
Right.
You know what I mean? He'd still have his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I believe that everyone makes their own choices, but I just don't like that he was blaming Lucas for it all. I'm like, how did this become about Lucas?
Right.
Like it just always comes back to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for some reason, he adds on, you better watch your back.
What's he gonna do?
Yeah. And then takes off in the car just as Dab's walking out and she
What did
asks
he
Lucas.
want?
Yeah. And Lucas answers Haley. Yep. And then the next day at school, Brooke is telling people to vote for her to get a makeover, which is more bribery, which should be against the rules, but Erica's also doing something similar with the guys at least. And then
So remember when she had brought up doing a makeover?
mhm,
And I'm still gonna stand by with what I said, which was, how is she paying for this makeover?
right, yeah.
I'm like, Brooke can't even afford gas money. How is she going to afford a makeover for somebody?
I don't know. Maybe she had some money saved from the crab shack still.
I
I don't
thought,
know.
yeah, but like you said, you have to pay for it the next month,
Hmm.
insurance.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I'm like, unless she's got a side job
Yeah,
to pay for it,
yeah.
or unless she's got like other family members that are giving her money.
Hmm. Now, I didn't see Erica talking to Bevan, but that's what Brooke seemed to say when she walks over to her and says, what did Erica just, um, do you like convince her to vote for her? And Bevan says, no, she didn't, but she made some good points. And she said that if Brooke was elected president, she wouldn't have time for cheerleading. And she's the best captain. And she tells Brooke that the squad needs her much more than America does. And Brooke asks Bevan, she realizes she's not running for president of the United States, right? And Bevan just walks off.
I mean, how did you like that?
Yeah, that was hilarious when I first saw it.
For America.
Yeah,
It's like, just the school, honey.
yeah.
Oh.
And then
Is
Lucas
that
walks
like our
over.
first time of like Bevan being Bevan?
Um,
You know
yeah,
what
I
I
think
mean?
so. Yeah, I know that wasn't her first line, but maybe like probably more than one line she's had now. I
Well,
don't know. Yeah.
oh my God, where we realize it's kind of like Oh, okay.
Right.
I'm not gonna say it.
hmm Yeah, she's just like a little ditzy character.
Yeah, there you
That
go. See,
yeah,
I'll
that
let you say it.
that every show almost seems to have. Yeah,
Who was the one on Dawson's Creek?
that's why I said almost every show.
I don't really think there was a ditzy character.
No, I can't even think of like a side character. Even
I mean,
no.
I guess you could say Audrey, but she was smart in her own way.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, guess you could say her, but again, she just wasn't book smart.
yeah, she was
But
people smart. Yeah.
Bevan just isn't people smart either.
Yeah. And then Lucas walks over to Brooke and, says the makeover booth looks very popular. And Brooke says it doesn't matter because Erica is so much better at the dirty politicking than she is. And Lucas says she can get dirty, and she lately hits him on the arm for that, and then tells her she's going to be great. And Brooke asks, "How does she know? How does he know?" And he says it's just a feeling. So now we're seeing Lucas be more involved with Brooke in her election than Felix is now. I mean, well,
Well,
he's supposed to be gone.
that's
Yeah, I
because
forgot.
Felix is apparently on a cruise that we didn't know about.
Yeah,
You know what's crazy is if you didn't watch the
previous episode,
well, if you didn't watch
the recap.
yeah, the recap,
Mhm.
then you wouldn't know that Felix was on a cruise.
Right, yeah. So he's
That's
just disappeared like
that's
Anna.
what's bad about that was
Mhm.
that was the only part that we know. That's why he's gone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you didn't watch it, you didn't know.
Mhm. Yeah, it just makes it more weird that Anna was gone now for the last 2 episodes because they could have said they were both on the cruise, but now they can't because he was in the previous episode. So it's not like
Maybe
she
maybe
went
she
before
went
him.
first and then he was coming a couple days later. I don't know.
Would a cruise come back around after a few days or
No, but maybe he met them up somewhere and they went to on another cruise.
oh, yeah, I don't know.
She said they're rich, so
Yeah. So then Whitey, sees her in the hallway and tells her to wrap up the beauty bar because the peer endorsement assembly starts in 10 minutes.
the what?
hmm Yeah, and Whitey explains it's where you introduce somebody who speaks on your behalf. It was on a schedule that Erica gave her. So now you know.
So, given who she had,
hmm
I thought it was going to be like it had to be a staff member. I mean, she had the principal, Erica.
Right.
So I
Well,
thought it was like at first. No, I'm saying at first. I thought it was supposed to only be like a staff member. But then obviously it could have been anybody. And that's what was weird was why didn't Lucas just go up there and talk about her then?
right. Well, Whitey said a peer endorsement, so I figured it was for students because, they are your peers and not really staff.
Yeah,
They're
but then when the principal was up there, then I was just kind of like thrown off though. Then I was like, well, then maybe it's supposed to be a staff member.
Yeah. No, I thought that was just because, Erica really couldn't get anybody else to go. And I feel like the principal shouldn't be accepted as a peer, um, advisor, or what did I just say? Peer,
Endorsement.
yeah, endorsement.
But
Um,
I didn't think that the principal should be either. Oh, well, not because he's not a peer, whatever. My thing was you're saying the other person can't do the job. You're saying the other person sucks. You know what I mean? Like this person is better. You're telling your students that.
mhm.
What principal does that? This one
Right.
is better
Yeah.
than you.
Yeah.
Vote
Because
for
he's,
vote for this one. Like I don't think
mhm,
principals should get involved in
right.
elections for the
hmm
school.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's a principal for all the students, not just Erica. So,
Yeah. So you saying Erica's the best, blah blah blah. That means you're saying Brooke's not, and that's just wrong because that's your student too. That's what
hmm
bothered me, and that's why I don't think principals should be a part of that because
hmm
you're saying one is better than the other, and you're not supposed to say that.
Yeah, it's like kind of some form of nepotism or something in a way like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when if a teacher did that, it's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense to me if it was teachers that the other one didn't have, but still, like
Yeah.
because not everybody had the same teachers, but yeah, so.
But yeah, I just was like, the principal?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and then like for Brooke, it's like, why would you want to ever go to the principal with any problems? Because he's not a fan of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I would feel is I would never come to you with anything. You basically outed me in front of everyone that this girl's better than me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way I'd ever, personally confide in anything. Does he even know she's no longer rich?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? The principal, like, isn't Brooks going through a whole lot that
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't know about? And you're supposed to know these things?
Right. And then if I was Peyton, well, Peyton wasn't there. I guess it wasn't mandatory for everybody to go, but if Peyton was there, I can imagine that she might get angry that Principal Turner was speaking up for Erica when, like, he went out of his way to do that for her, but he couldn't find out who did, that to her locker. Like, I don't like that either.
Well, apparently he's Erica's favorite student.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, you shouldn't out that this is my favorite student.
Right. Yeah. And then a big scene, at least for this character, I was surprised to see it the first time because Andy goes to see Dan at the dealership.
Oh my God. I love Andy for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because him and Karen have only been together a short period and he is getting so involved. It was so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he tells, to let Lucas go. It's the right thing to do and it needs to happen now. And Dan tells Andy he has some balls and calls him kid, just because he's a bit younger, But it's none of his concern. And
But
he
you know what's
says,
kind of funny is both Karen and Keith are dating 20-something-year-olds.
Right, yeah.
Did you realize that?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah, so Andy says that, that's not true about him not being of any of his concern because he hurt the woman that he loves.
He loves. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Andy.
Mm-hmm. And then Dan just tells him congratulations and to get out of his dealership.
What did you like though when he said, it's love, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Dan, oh my God.
Right.
But I'm sorry, when those two were standing face to face, I was like, oh God. Because,
Mm-hmm.
Dan loves to torment people.
Yeah. And then Andy tells Dan that he tends to get whatever he wants. And Dan walks up to him and asks if that's so. And Andy says, yeah, it's the strangest thing, just seems to happen that way. And Dan just gestures towards the door with his head. So Andy leaves.
Okay, but don't you love Andy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, Andy is like the one person, besides like Whitey and stuff, that doesn't get intimidated when it comes to Dan Scott.
Right. I think Nathan doesn't either, yeah.
No, I mean, Nathan gives in too easily when it comes to Dan. Like, there's things Dan does that it's like, why would you talk to him again?
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially like the future and stuff. It's like, and you're like, why do you just run back to him? It's really annoying.
Mm-hmm. And then at the endorsement assembly, like we said about Turner speaking for Erica, and he says, I didn't like how he says he considers her a friend, like himself a friend. Like, that's weird. And he does mention the age difference, and that's just making it more weird. And then, yeah, Brooke tells one of the tech guys to do her a favor. And then when it's her time to speak, when Turner's done speaking, some people applaud while others boo Erica.
That was funny.
Yeah. So when Whitey introduced Brooke, she goes up and she says, due to unforeseen circumstances, she is there without anyone to speak for her, but luckily she had a volunteer backstage, and that person is Erica, the backstabbing sock puppet. So apparently she took the guy's sock from the whoever was attacked, and that was the favor to give her one of his socks to be the puppet for Erica.
Would you want to put your hand in someone else's sock that
No,
you don't know?
no, yeah, that's why I didn't like that either.
I was like, that's gross.
Yeah, I didn't see what Brooke was
Wouldn't it?
wearing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't it have been better if she used her own sock?
Yeah, I mean, she's
But
probably
I
wearing
think she was wearing
heels, but
heels.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, or like find a towel or something, you know, a clean towel or just anything really. That's not somebody else's sock, but yeah. So she's mocking Erica with it, and
And
Whitey
then
goes up.
Whitey comes up and is like, okay, like this is enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Brooke says like she doesn't have anybody because of Erica, and that's when Mouth volunteers because he walks towards the stage and speaks for Brooke. So this was nice of Mouth, especially after the what happened last with him confessing that he broke her window and that they couldn't be friends anymore.
Well, I mean,
It's too hard.
he did need to do something
Mm-hmm.
in order to get their friendship back. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
did ruin her car, and she had no money, so.
Yeah, I just didn't think that he would want to be friends with her, at least again so soon. But it was funny when Brooke went to stand next to Erica and she shoved the sock towards her nose. That was funny.
Mm-hmm. And Erica's like, oh, get that away from me.
Mm-hmm. But then Mount didn't really start strong with his speech because he mentions that Mr. Turner listed off Erica's accomplishments and he could do the same thing for Brooke, but it would be a short speech. So yeah, that wasn't great. And then the rest of it kind of made up for it. But yeah. Basically, like how she never cared about the cliques, like how he wasn't part of the popular kids, and like who he was.
But
she looked past that.
It was funny because when he first said that, he could live like it'd be a short list or whatever. Brooke's like, "What are you doing?"
Right. Yeah. So he says, "Wouldn't we want a president, who is someone that can see past the superficial differences and bring us together?" And then he mentions how Brooks had her ups and downs this year, just like all of them, but most of them never saw it because even when life got hard, Brooke never let it get in or let it in. And then, she's tough, smart, one of a kind, and those are the things he looks for in a leader. And he says Brooke is his friend.
Did you like hear everyone? All right, Mouth, and I'm like, oh, you guys all know his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised that they all know his name.
Yeah, or his not his real name at least. Because I feel like only his friends would actually know him as Mouth, but he also said that he's voting for her because of her heart, spirit, and because she's the best person for the job. So then, she says thank you. She mouths it to him on the other side of the stage, and later in the hallway, she's fixing the posters when Erica comes out and says she's looking pretty in that one, and that Brooke says that the votes are in. She can stop bagging on her now, and Erica says she means that she looks pretty. She always does, and Brooke tells her thanks, and she asks Erica, what she's still doing there, and she says she's working on some work and how just the job keeps you there late. And Brooke, rolls her eyes the whole time she's talking, and then Erica asks Brooke if she knows why every year she has a staff member speak for her. And Brooke guesses because she's a hideous suck up, and Erica says no, it's because she doesn't have any friends that would speak up for her like Mount did for her. And after all the great things he said, she almost voted for her. And
but
then
she didn't.
Yeah. And Brooke says to Erica, like she knows a ton of people. She's sure there's someone. And Erica says council president is who she is. It's all she is. And then she just tells Brooke good luck tomorrow. And then the next scene, Jake puts Jenny in her crib. Peyton is also in bed. And when Jake is about to get in bed with her, she says she's going to sleep in her dad's room tonight.
What is up with this?
Right. Yeah.
Why is she being so wishy-washy? She wanted Jake to come back. She wanted Jake to move in.
Yeah. And I feel like they've already been sleeping in the same bed a few nights at least by now.
Yeah.
And now
ever since he was watching her, remember?
Yeah.
And the only reason that made her think twice was Brooke said something.
Yeah.
Because before that, she was loving this life with him and his kid.
Yeah. So, yeah, all of a sudden she's overthinking it now for some reason.
But I don't like the wishy-washy. Like, he came back for you. He's risking everything for you. And this is the way you're repaying him?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then he said, like, you know, is Jenny keeping you up? She said no. Then I did like though that he said he'd go to his parents' house. I'm like, that's where you should be, honestly, because again, the courts are going to see you living with your girlfriend.
Right.
So yeah, they won't exactly like that.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Payne tells him not to go. It's fine. She'll just see him in the morning, and she walks out of her room. And then Lucas gets a call. He says,
Oh, and again, so apparently Peyton's house is only a 2-bedroom.
yeah, I guess, yeah. And then, yeah, Lucas gets a call, and it's Haley. And he says she didn't call for 3 days.
1 in the morning.
Yep. Because apparently she just finished her set. That's why. And that there's so much to tell him. And Lucas asks if she wants to start with why she left without saying goodbye. And Haley says she feels awful about that. Everything happened so fast.
It was
And then
weird. It was weird because she like said she missed, or she asked how Nathan was,
yeah,
and then Lucas said he misses his wife, and I'm like, why? It's I don't know, because then she didn't like his answer and stuff. But it's like, now why'd you ask about him?
right, yeah. If she's so concerned about him.
Yeah.
And then,
You know what he should have said was, "Are you still his wife?"
right, yeah. Yeah, Haley tells him not to do this, and he asks you what he needs her. And Haley says that Nathan said they were done, and Lucas tells her Nathan didn't want her to leave. He's so in love with her, she has to come back. And just then a guy tells her that Michelle wants to see her in the dressing room, so Haley tells Lucas she'll call him later. And then next morning at school, Whitey is on the PA system to make the announcement for the winners of all the titles. And then Brooke walks out of the school, I guess, to have some privacy for this moment.
Well, because if you lose, do you really want to lose in front of everybody?
Right, yeah.
Because everybody's been watching your reaction.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, so she hears her name and is all excited. And then the student body is just as happy for her when she goes back in. Bevan hugs her, and some people have signs for her, I guess, because they knew she was going to win, so they had them in handy, I guess. But then Erica's near and smiles at her, but, you know, looks sad too. So then a bit later, Erica is packing her things from the student presidential desk. I guess they get a desk.
So, she just thought it was hers or something.
Well, I did see it. There was a name plaque too that said president on it with her name on it. So it's like a whole deal. I guess she has like her own little corner of an office at least in that big room. But
What I thought was weird was that this is it's not even mid. It's way over midway through school. And they're just now doing student council.
yeah, I don't know.
Like for us, they did student council at the beginning of every year.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they just doing it now? Because again, basketball's over, which means it's like March, and you're just now doing student council.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, a lot of things don't
I
add
could
up.
see them waiting until season 3 because then it's the new school year. But to just, I guess unless somebody moved away or something, like the old president or something, then they would do like a reelect or a new election and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to just do one right now, that's just kind of weird.
Right. Yeah. And then Erica apologizes to Brooke about not giving her the campaign papers, but it worked out for her anyways. And Brooke says she's been thinking about what she said yesterday about being president about how being president is all she has. Turns out that she has some experience in that area, trying to define yourself as just one thing. Because she was always the rich girl with the nice car and the expensive shoes and the fancy house with the pool. So when her parents lost her money, she figured her identity would disappear with it.
Oh, this was funny because Erica goes, "You mean you're not rich?" That was see,
Yeah.
It's like Brooke's really playing it off, isn't she? I mean, Erica doesn't even know. Otherwise, she would have used that in the campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, so Brooke tells her shoes are only $18 from the bargain mart. and that her point is that high school isn't over. There's other things to look forward to. There's friends and guys and the guys. And then Erica says there's a proposal in the top drawer, wireless internet for the cafeteria, which is kind of funny because back then that was like a new thing that was coming out, Wi-Fi.
Mhm. Yeah.
And now it's everywhere, but not in public school cafeterias for students to use whatever they want for, for their phones, if anything. But Brooke tells Erica that to tell her the truth, she's intimidated by the job. And Erica says it's funny because she's scared of what's in here while she's scared of what's out there. So it was nice to see them kind of,
Make up.
yeah, and be civil
Well,
for one.
and I was happy that Erica apologized because
Yeah.
she's been ruthless with this campaign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, making, Brooke look like the party girl who just sleeps around. Yeah. It's really
And
bad.
again, how did she get her GPA?
Yeah. And then the next scene is Karen and Andy in bed. He asks her if she's thinking about Lucas, and she says she's always thinking about him. What else is there to think about?
Which is funny because they're in bed together. It's like, I don't really think your significant other wants to hear that.
Right. I mean, I want to guess that they were there for a while until he asked her that, maybe, hopefully, but
Yeah, because otherwise if you're like really weird.
yeah. Yeah, because she keeps saying she's been looking at this at every angle, so she's gonna have to go through the courts. There's no other way.
How did
And
you like though when he said there is another way and like he's gonna help her and stuff?
right, yeah, I didn't know what he meant by that at first. The first time around, like, what else can he do?
Yeah. Well, what else can he do? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think doesn't he get like a PI or something to look at Dan to see if he can dig up anything or something like that, maybe?
Maybe I can't remember what he does, but I'm
And
just
then
like, what? I mean, I know he's rich, but I'm just like,
yeah, and then
what?
I think the PI discovers about Jules somehow, and that like
Oh
kind
yeah,
of that's
because
how it unravels.
doesn't Karen tell Keith?
Yeah, I think that's how it happened. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, this didn't really help. I don't think this really even helped Lucas's situation
Case.
about Jules because Jules has nothing to do with Lucas. But I mean, it is weird that his dad, Kyron, hired an escort to mess up his brother's life. But yeah, so,
Mhm.
but I don't think that would really affect Lucas directly. But yeah.
No, because she doesn't even find about his heart thing until season 3, right?
Who's?
Because Lucas is only staying with.
Oh, Karen with Lucas. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's later on. Yeah.
Well,
Pretty
yeah, it's
sure.
like season 3 or something. So it's just kind of weird that that they're fighting, and that's obviously going to come out about Keith. But it's like, why not still about his heart? You know what I
Right. Yeah.
mean? Like you would
Mhm.
think that would come out too, because that's what Dan's doing is holding that over his head.
Yeah, you think that the PI could find something about Dan paying for
His
this
pills.
yeah, under Lucas's name, sees Lucas's name on it, something. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if the PI can like look at medical records or whatever, but yeah, who knows? I don't know. At least for a show, I feel like he could do that at least. But
Yeah, you can pull that off on a show.
yeah.
I mean, they're pulling off saying Nathan's going to come home when he's emancipated. So
Yeah. So then back at Peyton, she walks into her room where Jake is trying to put Jenny to sleep. He asks her if her crying was keeping her up, and she says it wasn't. So then when she's, Jenny's in the crib, he tells Payne that he wasn't completely honest earlier about the reason he came back. And Payne mentions he said that he was tired of running. He says that wasn't the only reason. The whole time he was gone, he kept thinking about all this stuff that he would have done when he had the chance to. And now he's sitting really close to Peyton. And she asks what kind of stuff, and he says he doesn't know. Then says mostly being with her. And then he kisses her, and she kisses him back. And then after the kiss, Payne says, wow, and Jake agrees about the kiss being wow, but Payne says she also meant wow, as in Jenny finally stopped crying. So they look down at her in her crib, and she's smiling. They laugh, and then they kiss again. And then the next morning, Karen goes to the river court.
this scene, oh my
Yeah,
God.
looking for
It
Lucas.
just like breaks your heart.
Mhm,
Because first Karen's all sad because she
Yeah.
goes to the river court because she thinks Lucas is going to be there. And then Nathan's there instead. But I thought it was cute though because he called her Miss Rowe.
Yeah.
He didn't call her Karen like everybody else does. And because Lucas calls Deb. So
Mhm.
it was cute that Nathan was calling her Miss Rowe. But he was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And she said, like looking for Lucas. And he was like, "Well, Lucas has his own court and Dan's got his driveway."
Yeah.
But I did love how he apologized for his dad
Yeah, that was
treating
very
her.
cool.
And he said, I know it must have hurt you and everything. But you know what I thought was weird?
She said she got over it
Yes,
when she definitely hasn't.
this woman has not gotten over it from 18 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is she talking about? I got over it. I'm like,
Hmm.
what, last night? You're still going after Dan. I'm like,
Yeah. Or maybe until she got with Andy. I don't know. But yeah.
yeah, I was just like, what is she talking about? She has not gotten over it, and I don't think she ever will.
Right.
Like, when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whatever. But then of course Haley's brought up.
Yeah.
And
He
see, I
tells
do
Karen
think, but I do
about the
think
ultimatum.
I do think he blames himself for saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it did make her go on tour.
Yeah. And then he tells Karen that but he didn't really mean it and she left anyways. But if he didn't mean it, he should have made more of the effort to, like tell Haley after he said it, like take it back.
Why didn't he call her?
Yeah.
Meet her at the
Yeah.
bus stop. She was still there
Yeah.
when he got home.
Right. Yeah.
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 Anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't mean it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
then but then he said, she's not coming back. What am I gonna do? I'm like, oh my God, Nathan. Like, I
Yeah.
think you're breaking everyone's heart for this.
Yeah.
And then but then she said that Haley's a good person, she'll do the right thing. I
Mhm.
mean, I love how she like was comforting him and everything in her arms.
Right.
Well, you don't see Nathan and Karen having scenes together.
Right.
And so when you think about it in the future, I think this is the only one.
Mm, I don't know. I thought maybe they had one more. Maybe about Lucas. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just feel like this is like one of the only ones that like scenes that they had together, and I thought it was very cute and nice that Karen was there for Nathan.
Yeah, because he can't really talk to us about it, about Haley with his parents or anything. So
Yeah, they hate her. So well, and the only one that truly knows her is Karen.
Yeah.
Because he can't talk to Lucas, so it's like, well, the other best person is right here who's going through her own heartbreak.
Right.
Even though Lucas is still in town.
Yeah, so that was interesting how she said that she knows what it's like to have the person you love walk away. So did she mean Dan or Keith? Because I feel like it could have been any one of them that she meant.
Dan.
Hmm.
She
Just
chose to let Keith go.
I know, just the way she's been acting with him, like saying like she's jealous of, she didn't see the time that when she did have Keith, like how he was just like always there for her and she's gonna miss that kind of thing. So just made me think maybe.
Yeah, but then like Dan is the one that walked away from her.
Yeah.
To be with somebody else. Otherwise, she'd still be with him.
Well, didn't he walk away so he could go to school?
Yeah.
College?
But
Yeah.
I'm just saying she would have still been with him if he would have said, come with me. I mean, everything. Yeah. I mean, even if a year later he would have said something, she would have went running back to him. Like it would have been, I mean, heck, I even think right now, kind of, if he would say, he would be all like nicey to her. Like she's just kind of a little, she just like gives in, I guess. Too much. Like she always says she can't stand him, but at the same time, it's like, I do think she would go back to him right now. Right now. Not in the future, but right now.
Right. And then the next scene, Andy is in his car on the phone with a Bob. He says he has a job for him. And he's pulled up across the street from the Scott Motors building.
I mean, don't you think Dan is watching or has security cameras?
Right, yeah. And at Dan's house, he's eating at the dinner table with Lucas. Dan mentions the book, The Call of the Wind, because apparently Lucas is reading his copy from it.
So Lucas gets reading books from, or the love of books from Dan.
I guess, because Dan says he's had that copy since high school. So if he didn't like, reading, he would have thrown away or sold it or gave it away, or thrifted or something. But yeah, so yeah, because he says it's nice to have someone around who cares about literature, and then talks about
Well,
the
what I
author.
find weird is that he's talking to somebody that about anything else besides basketball.
Right, yeah,
That's the only thing he could talk to Nathan about.
right.
But Lucas, he's actually talking about books and everything
Mm-hmm.
and not basketball. That's
Yeah,
like, that's what I mean. Like, in this scene, like, doesn't Dan have like a part of him that's like, this could have been my life with you?
maybe, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, all I have with Nathan is basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could have something deeper with you.
Right.
I don't know. It's just weird. But then he's got little smirks on his face. But I'm not really sure about
Mm-hmm.
Dan. And yeah, well, that's when he calls him son, because Lucas said that if you ever need help at the dealership, I can come by after. This is what I mean. The boy doesn't have a job because he's trying to find one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how would you like it? The dealership. Nathan supposedly works there. Keith works there. Dan, and then it'd be Lucas.
Right, yeah. All the boys, yeah.
All of them, and then some of them don't even really like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Dan and
Yeah.
Keith, and uh,
Nathan and Lucas at the moment, yeah. Or,
well, and Nathan and
Nathan to
Dan.
Lucas, yeah.
Yeah, but Nathan and Dan too.
Yeah. And then at school later, Brooke drops by to see Mouth at his locker. He calls her Miss President. Brooke says it has a nice ring to it. But her friends call her Brooke, and they smile at each other and walk down the hall arm in arm. So they've officially made up.
But I can't figure out the next scene.
About Payne is still at home with Jenny and Jake.
Oh no, not that one.
Oh, yeah. So they're like, with her. And then at the apartment, Nathan picks
This
up
one.
an envelope. Yeah, because about it being like in the middle of the living room.
I mean, yeah, she really had to slide that through, didn't she?
Yeah. So
Or she had the key and she just set it in there.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, he opens it to find a drawing from Peyton of two hands placed on top of each other
With
with wedding
rings.
bands. Yeah, on the words under with the words underneath. Sometimes they come back as like a a part two of her drawing about the one he saw earlier. So Karen told him to have faith, and now Peyton's basically telling him to have faith too, that Haley will come back and they'll be together again.
But then he picks up the phone and you're like, oh, who's he gonna call? And he calls Haley.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to her voicemail, but I'm like, and then like just ends like that.
Yeah, we don't see if he leaves a message or not. Yeah.
It goes to credits and it goes beep, and it's like, and I was like, but I'm like, why is he calling her? Like now,
I guess now he's starting to have faith again after Payne's drawing and Karen's words. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of weird, like all of a sudden.
Yeah, I guess he's just giving it a try and see what happens.
It ain't working. You have to call her at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Just ask Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the episode.
Mm-hmm. So highs and lows?
So my high was the scene with the Scott family.
Oh yeah, the apartment.
And Nathan punching him.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yes, that was my favorite part. And then the low was Erica basically bullying Brooke and making her and sabotaging her in front of the whole, I don't want to say the whole school. I don't think it was the whole school. In front of most of the school.
Yeah.
I just thought that was very wrong and so embarrassing. Like, would you want to go out after that? I'd hide.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't like that either.
hmm
So what about you?
Yeah. My low would be, I don't know. I mean, Dan did a lot of stuff too, along with Erica. Um, yeah, but he did really have that punch coming to him after so many episodes, and people seem to forgive him, and then he does something bad again, and then
This
they
is what I
forgive him.
mean.
Yeah.
Everybody's given in to Dan except for like
hmm
Andy and Whitey. Those are the
Yeah.
only people that are like, I see you for who you
hmm
are, where everybody else is like, all right, you did something bad. We'll forget about it.
Yeah.
Like I'd be adding all this stuff up. And then
hmm
then we've got an issue.
Yeah.
But they all seem to just forget it that it existed.
hmm Yeah. So I guess just like I know seeing Karen at sad by Lucas moving in, so um it was just like hard to see her because she knows something's up, but she can't figure out what it is with Lucas and Dan. So that would be the low, just her, sad about Lucas, and then yeah, and then the high, or not the high, the low. Nope, I just said the low. The high would be, yeah, like I said, Nathan punching Dan after so many bad things that he's done. Probably deserved something back that he's been giving. And then rating.
I would rate this a 9. I thought it was really good. It had a lot of drama in it. I liked it.
Yeah, I'd say 8.
Oh my God. Have you ever rated a 9 yet?
No, but I know some good episodes are coming up later too. Um, and then bad and worst, or best and worst. I mean,
Um, well, I know for sure the worst is Dan Scott. I know Erica was bad, but Dan just he just irks me.
right.
And then the best. Is there a best in the episode?
Do you want me to say mine?
Yes.
My best is Andy because he sees how bad Karen feels about Lucas living with Dan, so he's doing something about it, getting to the bottom of it and see what's really going on, or at least trying to. And then my worst was Erica, just because I didn't like how she was messing with Brooke, basically, slut shaming her, like I said, with those stickers, making it look like she was sleeping with all the guys that was wearing them. I think we only saw maybe 3 guys that were wearing them, but I'm sure there's a lot more that, Brooke just wasn't, close enough to see. So, yep.
Oh, so my best would be Karen. Because even though she's trying to get it out of Lucas, and it's just not, he's stubborn, it ain't working. But she was there for Nathan when she's going through her own stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, think too, that's your ex's child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that has to be hard. But I liked it too because Nathan needed somebody. Truly. And I like that she was there for him.
Right.
And then what's the next episode?
Episode 15, an unopened letter to the world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.